Let us continue with the lesson, children, the enemy. While she was thinking these thoughts, though not really liking the man better now that he was no longer a child, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean. So we just saw in the last class that in her anger, Hannah forgot her fear for being with this man. She started cleaning the body of this man. So she is continuing to wash his bare chest and upper part of the body. She cleaned it fully. But she dared not turn him over. She didn't want to turn him over because the wound was on his back, and if she is going to turn him over and if the blood is once again going to ooze, it is going to be a problem for her because she has not seen anybody so wounded and profusely bleeding earlier. Where was Sado? Now her anger was ebbing and she was anxious again, and she rose, wiping her hands on the wrong towel. Then, lest the man be chilled, she put the quilt over him. Ebbing, declining. Now, slowly it was coming down. Earlier it was bubbling. Now, slowly it was coming down. And then she was seeing, where is the doctor? Where he has gone? And then she got up from there and rubbed her hand in the wrong towel, which had cleaned that dirty body of that. And then she was wiping her hand properly. Then the man is with bare body. He is not wearing his dress. So he may feel chill. So she is pulling the quilt over him. Sado, she called softly. He had been about to come in when she called. His hand had been on the door, and now he opened it. She saw that he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag and that he wore his surgeon's coat. You have decided to operate? She cried. So the doctor had gone. He brought his emergency kit. He was wearing the surgeon's coat, and so she was asking him, are you ready to operate him? Yes, he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of the tokonoma, a clove, and put his instruments upon it. Tokonoma, it is actually a niche or an alcove in a Japanese home for displaying a flower arrangement. It's like a piece of art. So he just kept a towel, clean towel, and kept all the instruments that he needs for the surgery. So sterilized towel, sterilized is germ free. You would have observed all these things in the hospital. She went obediently, but how anxious now, to the linen shelves and took out the towels. So she fetched the towels, he said. Now the doctor wants some more towels for the patient, for cleaning the patient or for using it during the process of surgery. So she went obediently, but how anxious now, to the linen shelves and took out the towels. There ought also to be old pieces of matting so that the blood wouldn't ruin the fine floor covering. She went out to the back veranda where the gardener kept strips of matting with which to protect delicate shrubs on cold nights, and took an armful of them. But when she went back into the room, she saw this was useless. The blood had already soaked through the packing in the man's wound and had ruined the mat under him. Oh, the mat, she cried. Yes, it is ruined, Sado replied, as though he did not care. Help me to turn him, he commanded her. So, linen is a fine fabric. She went to the cupboard, she took some linen, handed it to him, and she wanted to bring some strips of the matting which was there with them, so that she can keep it on the floor so that the floor matting will not get damaged. But by the time she could fetch them, the floor mat was already ruined by the blood which was pouring out. So she was worried that the mat is ruined now. But the doctor was not bothered. He was just telling her, help me to turn him out, turn him to the other side. "Help me to turn him," he commanded her. She obeyed him without a word, and he began to wash the man's back carefully. "Yumi would not wash him," she said. "Did you wash him then?" Sado asked, not stopping for a moment his swift, concise movements. Concise, brief. So Hannah helped him to turn over this man, and then the doctor started washing the back. At that time, Hannah said, "Yumi did not wash." So the doctor understood it must have been Hannah who had washed, but still he did not raise his head to tell anything, and he was continuing with his work. "Yes," she said. He did not seem to hear her, but she was used to this, to his absorption when he was at work. Absorption, total attention. Or concentration. He was much more concentrated in the work that he was doing, because a surgeon has to be very careful when he is going to perform a surgery. So he was, being an experienced doctor, much absorbed in the work that he was doing. She wondered for a moment if it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, as it was for the work he did so excellently. Mattered, important. Doctor, a body lying just in front of him, he has to perform surgery. That is all is the thought of Dr. Sado at that particular moment. He never bothered whether he is an enemy or whatever it is. "You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs it," he said. Anesthetic, a medicine which is generally given that causes the feeling of feelinglessness. Medicine for feelinglessness. Which will definitely make you feel unconscious, and you will not be feeling the pain when the process of surgery is going on. She repeated blankly without any emotions. But never have I. Is it easy enough? He said. "It is easy enough," he said impatiently. She said, "I have never given any anesthesia for anybody." But he says it is very easy. Now one thing you have to understand, children, giving an anesthesia as it happens nowadays, whether in the spine or an epidural or whatever it is, those days it was not like that. They used to put the medicine on a piece of cloth and keep it near the nostril of the person so that he will feel unconscious, and the process of surgery will go on. That is how Hannah is also going to give anesthetic for this white man. He was taking out the packing now, and the blood began to flow more quickly. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. "The bullet is still there," he said with cool interest. "Now I wonder how deep this rock wound is. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet. But the bleeding is not superficial. He has lost much blood." Not superficial means it is not something on the top, but it has gone deep rooted. And this person has lost lot of blood. All these are the observations of the doctor when he started observing the wound of this white man. At this moment, looked up and saw her. Hannah choked. At this moment, Hannah choked. He looked up and saw her face, the color of sulfur. Choked, the throat blocked for her. She felt like vomiting, seeing the blood oozing out of this white man's body. Don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man will surely die. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching, trying to vomit. Because the blood, and when the blood is mixed with, when you clean the blood with the water, naturally that smell will be still more horrible, and that made her feel like vomiting. So she went out for that. But he went on with his work. It will be better for her to empty her stomach, he thought. He had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation, but her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with this man who lay like dead under his knife. So he was feeling so irritated. Now he couldn't go out to help his wife who was trying to vomit. He is so care and concerned. And now this man is lying down as a dead person, and all his helplessness made him get much more irritated. So the reason what he did was that his knife started doing the work much more briskly with all the irritation. This man, he thought, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. So the thought goes once again, why should this man ever live? What is the reason why he should live? Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless, and he proceeded swiftly. Ruthless, harsh. Why did this man ever come near my home? Why should I ever save this man? And why am I performing surgery for this man? And I am not able to go out and help my wife who is just vomiting. Actually, she has not seen a surgery, and that is the reason why she is now vomiting, seeing the blood oozing out. All these thoughts, no, it made him get so irritated. So he became too harsh in his job. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless, and he proceeded swiftly, moved forward. He speeded up his work. In his dream, the man moaned, but Sado paid no heed except to mutter at him, moaned, cried in pain. Sado paid no heed except to mutter at him. Heed, care. And what did he say? Groan, he muttered. Groan if you like. I am not doing this for my pleasure. In fact, I do not know why I am doing. So much of irritation in Dr. Sado. You groan as much as you want. I am not doing this operation for my pleasure, and I myself don't know why I am performing this surgery. This is what Dr. Sado was muttering. The door opened, and there was Hannah. Where is the anesthetic? She asked in a clear voice. Sado motioned with his chin. Motioned showed a gesture. It is as well that you came back, he said. The fellow is beginning to stir. Stir means move. Because slowly he is gaining consciousness. If he is going to move, the doctor will not be able to perform the surgery. She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. But how shall I do it? She asked. Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostrils. Sado replied without delaying for one moment the intricate detail of his work. When he breathes badly, move it away a little. Saturate, soak. And he is telling, you just saturate it with the anesthetic medicine, keep it near his nostrils, and if he is breathing very badly, take it away from that. Intricate means minute. So he was working inside. What is there in the body? Where is the gunshot? Where is the bullet? He was working there. When he breathes badly, move it away a little. So he has given very clear instruction to Hannah to move away the cotton away from the body if he is breathing very badly. Let us continue in the next class, children. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you.